Mm. Hey y'all, welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered call. Have a seat. Let's get ready. You have any questions? Come on, call in. Come on to that Discord channel. Do me a favor, get the unfiltered crew some finger snaps. We're ready to get started here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Every single Monday, we're here. I'm excited about it. Are you? Let's get this show started, y'all. The greatest Scrum show on earth. I'll see y'all soon. Enjoy. Welcome everyone. This is the, I want to say Devon A. Morris Unfiltered Call-In Show. So just the Unfiltered Call-In Show. And we talk about Scrum, entrepreneurship, Agile, all those kind of topics, Agile coaching, whatever you want to talk about, right? So how does this work? It's really simple, not a complicated thing. You call in, ask your questions, you type a note in the chat to ask your questions. This is a place to get your questions answered. Now, so for those that are new to this, please go ahead and say hi in the chat for me. Let's get a check-in going, man. Tell me how your week been going. Tell me what special happened for you last week. Anything interesting happened for you last week? I don't know. Maybe you became a president or you opened your own company. I don't know what it is, but maybe something special happened for you last week. The way we kind of operate in the show, just to give you an idea of the agenda, it's really very simple. We kind of jump in, talk about 5 minutes, go through this intro stuff. I say hi to people. We go from there. And then we talk for about 10, maybe 15 minutes on the topic at hand. And today's topic is Scrum dead? All right, so that's going to be an interesting topic, right? To talk about is Scrum dead? Then after that, we open the lines to see if anybody have any questions. People have questions, great, we talk. People don't have any questions, then we go ahead and shut the show down, say bye. That's what we do. Anyway, it's a good day. It's an amazing day. Hopefully you all have had an amazing week. It's been flooding down where I live at. Flash floods, and then they said after that, they said the flash flood was over, and they sent me a note said it's a real flood. And then I have this little area in my house that water comes into somehow. And I got to solve that problem, but it's not going to be solved today. So anyway, whole problem. Other than that, last week was wrapping up like a lot of, the past 2 weeks has been wrapping up a whole ton of things for me. Like getting the daughter off to school, going back to the school to make sure she, to see her get pinned, and, wrapped up a quarter in terms of school, and then just a lot of other life events have happened, right? So this week has been a week of recovery. So literally, if you send me an email, I'm probably not responding that fast this week because I'm just really kind of taking a little bit of a moment to decompress, right? To kind of get the life back in order, to kind of breathe a little bit of life back into myself here. I may even go down and visit my grandfather, maybe even this weekend. So so it's just been one of those weeks. So it's been good, nothing but positive stuff, but just newfound levels of freedom is what my life is experiencing, which is interesting, right? But on that note, I love you all for being here. Thank you all for coming through. Thank you all for coming in. For those that are on LinkedIn, just say hello. For those that are not on LinkedIn, it's just somewhere around, like on YouTube, hey, how you doing? All right, so just to jump out there, man, Patrick, hey, how you doing? How's it going? Hopefully you're good, brother. Hopefully you have an amazing start to your week. So that's a good thing. Let's see. I got Shanita here. Miss Jones, you was in the class with me. And your husband was too, and I see your husband. I think your husband right here. Yeah, right here, right? So, hey, y'all. How y'all doing? Hey, Katie, how's it going? Look at that. She's a CSM, PMP, PCP, BBA, ACP, AFL, NFL, MBA, ABA. She just got a little bit of letters on everything. How you doing, Katie? Hopefully everything's good for you. So That being said, let's see what else. What else is happening here? That's really about it. Ain't really nothing else happening. But it's just literally, when I say to you, literally a recovery week for me. That is literally what it is, and I am taking the time because next week I start another set of classes, and I think next week I do. Yeah, I'm just about sure next week I do. It don't feel like it, but next week I do. I think I do. Figure it out. But anyway, let's kind of start talking. Let's jump into this topic. Is Scrum dead? Let me tell you some interesting stuff, right? I remember one of the reasons why I don't go into organizations and consult for long periods of time is because I have learned that for me, sometimes I lose my independence. I lose my ability to disconnect from the organization and be a true consultant where they're not influencing my decisions based on relationships and stuff like that. And I remember at one point, before I was a Scrum trainer, I used to down the Certified Scrum Training class, the CSM. I used to down it, right? And in me downing it, it would be like, you can go to a 2-day class and learn enough to really do Scrum. Yeah. I think most of us would agree with that. I would completely agree with that, right? But it wasn't the sense of, hey, we need to do it. We need to just get people right. It was a sense of just degrading it to some degree. And over the years, we have seen a lot of different things pop up. I mean, like in 2007, 2006, 7, 8, around that time frame, Kanban really kind of rocked it out there, right? And then, within the 2010s, right, in general, you just started seeing, once SAFe came out, then you seen a plethora of other frameworks come out. And if there's anything that skyrocketed to a place of super popularity, it's definitely been the Scale Agile framework. No question, right? No question in terms of that. Dean Leffingwell, I think, had 3 books prior to that. Dean Leffingwell is the creator of SAFe, right? And so he had like 3 books. One of them was about scale, and one that I definitely read. And I remember before SAFe came out, bringing him into an organization. Well, we didn't bring him in. We actually had a conversation with him on telephone. And I remember my manager, me sitting there having a conversation with Dean Leffingwell about scaling, right? And so clearly remember that, right? And so there's always been this push that's been kind of away from Scrum to some degree. Almost like people downtrodden on Scrum like it's really, really horrible. My question for you is, do you think Scrum is dead? Right? Do you really think Scrum is dead? The interesting thing that I really think about, probably more than anything else, is I separate the certifications from the framework. And when I separate the certifications from this framework, I see Scrum either being connected to or a part of almost everything else. You understand just understand what I'm saying, right? If you really go talk to someone who's doing a scaled agile framework, and there's some SAFe people in here that's successfully passed at least one of the classes, right? Is Scrum a part of the scaled agile framework? If I was to show you that big picture, it probably would say Scrum and XP somewhere in it. Probably on the left-hand side. I'm just saying it probably would, right? I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm just saying it probably is going to say that, right? When you think about extreme programming, most of the time anybody talks about extreme programming, a lot of people, there's a pairing of it with Scrum. And if it's not paired with Scrum to some degree, then the people that don't want to pair it with Scrum are completely against Scrum and really don't want to talk about Scrum whatsoever. So there's always this pairing of it. And then if you take Kanban as just another example, right? Who does pure Kanban? Classically, people mix Scrum and Kanban together and call that Kanban. Am I correct? Just really think about it for a second. Anybody out here doing Kanban? If you are, isn't there a little bit of Scrum mixed into it? Just a little bit of Scrum? So, if you pull the certifications to the side and just say to yourself, hey, is Scrum something that people actually use? Well, in the business world, it's an obvious yes. I see people still coming to my CSM classes. I really do. They still come. I thought that it would die down by now, but it's more people coming. Because there's been these waves in terms of Agile, right? Like things have happened and there's a wave, and then there's all of a sudden people jumping on the bandwagon and they're in. And, I'm like, okay, I feel good about Scrum, okay? So the thing that's interesting is before I became a certified Scrum trainer, which I think would have been the death of me. Actually, I don't think it would have been the death of me. I think it would have been a nice place to have conversation. So probably 2011, 2013, somewhere around there, I was going to write an article and put it on the internet. And my article was going to be titled Scrum is Dead. I just was going to do it. You all are the first ones that I'm telling about. There's only one other person that knows about this, right? One other person, right? But I know Lizzie knows about it, right? If you all know Lizzie, she knows about it, right? I was going to write this article, and she didn't want to stop me from writing it, right? And she was just like, nah, that's stupid. Don't do that. You got all these other things that you're going to be, it's be the death of you. But I actually didn't think it was going to be the death of me. I actually thought it was, I think that you have the right to your opinion. And I wasn't feeling it at that point in time. I just wasn't feeling it, right? So it's just quite interesting, right? And so if you look at, my statement to you is really simple. Do I think Scrum is dead? Hell no. No, absolutely not, right? And I don't think it's, look, you see this right here? You see this shirt? Look at this shirt. Y'all, most of y'all have never seen me wear this shirt before. You definitely never seen me wear this one. You never seen me wear this one. It's a rugby shirt, right? Any of you all train with me, you like me seeing me wear a rugby shirt. You know where this idea comes from? My godfather, Tom Miller, who told me when I was co-training with him that I have to get my all blacks shirt. And whenever I train, I have to wear my all blacks. Now, I don't train in all blacks because the shirt is too expensive, right? It's just too expensive, right? And so I got me another version of rugby shirt. But the idea is that I'm wearing these all blacks because Tom, my godfather in Scrum, said that his godfather in Scrum, Ken Schwaber, told him to wear all blacks whenever he was training. And so when I began my whole training process, all I would wear is all blacks. But mine would normally be a whole black with white, that kind of deal, right? It's what I would wear. Then I just flexed it and started throwing Bearded Eagle on it as well, right? And so this is my dedication to it, that Scrum ain't going nowhere. Scrum is not going nowhere. I've used Scrum to remodel my entire house. Literally. Okay? I really have. Now, for those that are new here or anything like that, like and subscribe. Okay? I actually never say it, but I remember to say it now, so I'm just going to say it, right? And so as I think about this and just really, put it to the side, I'm thinking to myself, is Scrum really dead? The answer is no, it's not. There are still people, there are people right now, Shanita, that's right there in the chat, right? She done said several things in the chat. Just was in one of my Scrum classes. Super excited about Scrum. Is going to make some great things happen. Her and her husband, they're going to do some amazing things with Scrum. They are. I've seen lots of husband-wife combos do great things, or one of them get in, another one come later. I've seen this happen time and time again. Trained many couples. I've trained many people, and they are super excited and going out and doing great things. When I look at people who I've mentored over the years, they are still doing great things, still earning good money. Everybody doesn't. This is truth. Everybody doesn't. But I put that down to the person. Right? What's the difference between one that's doing greatness over here and one that's not? Is the people is the real difference. And so when I look at Scrum, I kind of go back and say to myself, you know, this right here is just a unique place to be. Because I think that we're in another one of those places where Scrum is having another uptick. It's just having another uptick. And there's more people getting involved with Scrum. I see way more jobs being advertised in terms of Scrum than I've ever seen. You know, people trying to fill these positions and they're trying to get more work done in half the time. And one of the ways that they can do that is by utilizing things that allow them to be flexible. Okay? Things that allow them to be flexible. So when you really, really think about it, why would Scrum die? It's always had a lifeline. It has always been the most popular of all of Agile frameworks. If you really just sit back and think about it, SAFe is a scaling process, framework, method, whatever you want to call it, right? That's different than the base framework of Scrum. Kanban origination came out of Toyota. It's different, right? Stream Program is right along the side of it. I mean, Stream Program was around before Scrum was, right? And so you really, really think about it and you say to yourself, why do people think this? Why are people so against Scrum? Why? I don't know. I wish I did know. And if I did know, most of you all know that I wouldn't care that they don't care. I don't care that they're upset about it. Why would I care? You know, realistically, as I look at Scrum and I sit back, Scrum has given me the opportunity to wake up every day and work within something that I'm excited about. You understand? Every day, understand, anybody who's seen me and seen me train or anything like that, anybody who's seen me whatsoever would not say to you that I'm depressed about the work that I'm doing. Would not say to you that I'm unhappy about the work that I'm doing. And it's not just that there's only one way to get yourself to skin the cat. There's not only one way to peel an onion. There's not only one way to do this. You can find your niche within inside of this. You can find a particular area that you want to focus in. Man, you may decide to focus on a particular industry. I know people who work Scrum, do Scrum, and they only work with the government. That's what they do. When I first started, I started off by working with non-for-profits. You know, non-for-profits was probably one of the first real gigs that I had, right? I remember working with Awana clubs, you know, as the first time I did a private training after becoming a certified Scrum trainer. So when I look at it, I'm just like, this is crazy. This is amazing. And so to see it, how many years later? And it's still growing. I still have people that are involved in it. I still have people that are excited about it. I still have people who want to learn and grow within it. It's like this. So is Scrum dead? Certainly not. Has Scrum become stagnant? Some people would say yes to that. But how do you call a problem-solving framework stagnant? Is it that the framework's stagnant, or is it that you stagnant? Do you understand where I'm coming from? It's not the framework that's stagnant. It's you that's stagnant. Anybody who thinks Scrum is dead, they the ones that's dead. They the ones that's stagnant. Matter of fact, let me protect up for Scrum just a little bit here, right? Because the ones that say that are usually the ones that ain't had no success with it. Come on, think about it. Anybody you know that's sour against Scrum, the naysayers, right? They have a bad story to tell. Like Scrum did it to them. Scrum didn't do nothing to nobody. People always ask me, well, when you get an organization, how you gonna make people do Scrum? No, I don't. They do it or they don't. It's a choice. Ain't nobody making nobody do nothing. So anyway, the point that's being made here is Scrum is not dead. Scrum is alive and well. Scrum is continuing to grow. I firmly see that. I firmly believe that. I was out there looking at, I wasn't really looking for jobs, but I was out there looking at jobs. And literally, yeah, it's out there. And here's the great thing about it. Probably in the past 2 years, let's say prior to the pandemic, I have at least seen in my classes maybe 300 to 400 people below the age of 30. I want to say 25. But below the age of 30. Because once they get to about age 35 or younger, they start calling me Mr. Morris. And I don't like that. But I don't really care. I don't really care. But you understand, that's what ends up happening, right? And so literally, if I'm looking at people coming through this thing that are below 30, and I mean some people literally young, 10 years younger than that. That says to me that Scrum has a future. I still see colleges trying to figure out how to adopt this whole agile thing. And the biggest thing that they talk about is Scrum. So if you really just sit back and think about it, this Scrum thing is probably not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't see it going anywhere. Okay? I really, really don't. All right, so I'm going to say here, thank you, but it's time for me to start opening up the lines, right? Because we always give some time for people to ask questions. And what I'm going to do, as I normally will do, is I'm going to drop in the chat on LinkedIn the actual link to join us, and I'll tell you about all that stuff in just a second. And I'm going to do the same exact thing on YouTube. So then you have access to all the information, right? So you can at least come join me if you decide to. So here's how we're going to do this, right? We're going to go ahead and open up the lines. You're welcome to add your questions to the chat. If you want priority, though, you want to go ahead and join me at the link that I just put in the chat. I just dropped the link in the chat. That link in the chat is for you to join me live, where we can pretty much have a conversation. That makes sense? So it shouldn't be a complicated thing, but we can actually have a conversation about this whole Agile Scrum thing, or whatever questions you have about Scrum in general, okay? So that being said, we're going to open up the lines, open up everything. I have to do one other thing here, so it's just going to be open in just a second, because there's one thing that is not open here just yet. Oh, yeah, it is. So now I got it. So, yeah, the line is open, so we're good to go. All right, so I see Shanita saying, true, my professors taught Scrum over Safe. Yeah. And Scrum is much easier to teach, right? With Scrum, you're talking about one thing. With Safe, there's a whole plethora of things. It includes Scrum. So, obviously, it's going to be much easier to teach a Scrum because it ain't, once you get past, at the end of the day, people, in my classes, I have to say to people, ask a simple question, right? I get asked about definitions in terms of Scrum, and that's the official definition. But my definition is a time box plan that you evaluate daily. You learn about the product, you learn about the process, and you do it again. That's my idea of Scrum. Like if I boil Scrum down to 10 second to 30 second, just kind of elevator pitch to tell people what it is, that was exactly what I'm going to say. Just that little piece right there. Nothing more than that. So that's all Scrum really is. If you really, really just sit back and think about it, there's nothing more than that. So can I use Scrum to remodel a kitchen and a bathroom and everything else? Yeah, it's a time box plan that you evaluate daily and you learn about the product and process and you do it again. So yes, I can use that. Can I use it for my workout routine? Yes, I can use it. And I do. There's no question. I do. And I do it all the time. There's almost no reason for me not to do it because it helps. It keeps things interesting for me. And it gives me more things that I can actually tell you about, right? One of the reasons why I definitely didn't try to pursue becoming a trainer earlier is because I didn't feel like I had enough stories. enough stories to be able to keep a class interested. Once I felt like I had enough stories, then I was ready to take that leap. But before that time, I wasn't ready to take that leap at all. At all, just wasn't. And I definitely was turning things away like, nah, I'm not trying it. Nah, I'm not trying. Nope. I'm not trying to hear it. Okay. All right, so lines are open. Let me double check. See if I see any questions here. Please like and subscribe. Subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 at some point in life. So love for you to subscribe, so then you can be a part of what's the latest and greatest in terms of what we're doing. Matter of fact, we're going to start doing more stuff. I got some other things I want to do within the channel, and we'll start thinking about doing more of that stuff, even though we'll keep every Wednesday the way that it is. And I'm going to start chopping up the videos and making them a little bit smaller. You know, it's just, matter of fact, what I'm supposed to do, which I'm getting the courage to do it, but I got to take this break, everybody. What I'm doing right now is I'm about to restart the volunteer program for this channel. So one of the things that we did to get it to its first 300 people is we actually used Scrum to manage everything that we was doing in the channel. And so one of my sons came to me and said, you know, Dad, why don't you do this again? And I'm like, I don't know, it's a lot of work. So I'll help you. Say if I'm gonna do it though, I gotta open it up to everybody to see if people want to join and volunteer. So as stated, if you are interested in volunteering to help this channel grow using Scrum though, we're gonna use Scrum. Then send an email to team@beardedeagle.com. Team TEAM @beardedeagle.com. You see the Bearded Eagle name right there? That side right there. Okay. So make sure you know, if you want to join that, send me an email, team@beardedeagle.com. And you know, I haven't set a date for that yet, but it will be in the next month. So it definitely would be a September thing, right? August is almost over. It'll be after the holiday, but you know, it's gonna be something I'm gonna start up pretty soon. And when I do start it, it'll be us preparing for next year. And when we did it before, we had like 3 volunteers and then a few volunteers that would come in and out. And they did an amazing job. They did an amazing job, right? Someone were able to go utilize that to go help them get a job. Yep. Was able to utilize that kind of stuff, right? So those things help you out. But if you're going to do it, you got to be serious about it. I mean, you got to be willing to put in a few hours a week. How many hours? You know, maybe it's about 4 hours a week, maybe 3-4 hours a week. Yeah, and then you could use and then you have some experience doing it, right? That can be very helpful. So just know it's coming. It's coming. So if you want to volunteer, team@beardedeagle.com is the place to send an email to let me know. And then in about a week or so, I start thinking about it and working toward it. And then we'll create some sprints, start making things happen. What do you think? Am I crazy? Okay, let me ask the question. Anybody in the chat that would be interested in this? Just give me a hell yeah, something like that, a thumbs up or whatever. Throw it in the chat for me, right? You know, am I crazy? Or if you think it's a dumb idea, just say it's a dumb idea and throw that in the chat too. Yeah, just, you know, just always is some work, right? And so it's not just work for me. It's a lot of work for me, but it's definitely be something that would help you actually grow, right? So people, you know, if you think it's a good idea, just give me something, thumbs up, smiley face, whatever. It doesn't matter to me, because I could be off here. I could be off. You know, some of you all are experienced with Scrum, right? Like literally got more experience than others, and definitely could help out, right? Some of you may be working toward getting a CSP or thinking about doing some advanced work. You know, all those things, you know, would be a plus. Would be a major plus. Whoa. Lorraine just asked, I just joined. Is this a simulation? No. Do you mean a simulation like I'm Max Headroom, like I'm a robot? If you mean a simulation like that, this is definitely not a simulation. I am me. I am real. I'm real because I just brought your thing up saying this is a simulation. No, this is not a simulation. Am I that robotic? Am I that robotic? When you feel like this is Lorraine, you have an ACSM. I have higher expectations of you. To call me a simulation, it's like blasphemy. It's complete blasphemy. I'm just saying. She says no. It's not a simulation. Okay? No simulation here. I'm not simulating anything on anybody. Anyhow, anyway. No, it's no simulation. But if you're talking about the actual volunteer thing, it would be a simulation of Scrum. Is what it would be, right? It would really be us doing Scrum to do something within a show. We build a product backlog. We would actually, we do it like we did last time. We go ahead and build a product backlog. We make a commitment to a certain amount of things every single week, some things that we're going to focus in on, and then we'll evaluate it weekly, and then plan what we're going to do next. But the problem is it just takes time, right? You just got to be okay with spending that additional time. And some people are okay with that. Other people just don't have the time. And that's okay. I get it. But it would be a simulation of Scrum. It wouldn't be a simulation. It would actually be using Scrum. It would be literally using Scrum to help with things on the show. Okay? And so it would be real, right? And I think it's major, right? Because people always ask me about volunteer opportunities, and I can create them. It's just that I don't want to create them and do all the work. You understand? I don't want to create them and do all the work, right? And it could be really a heavy lift on me. And so it would be not a simulation, but really real. And here's the way I look at it, like this, right? And here's what I want you all to think about. Right now, we have 585 people that are subscribers to the show. Think about this. Imagine that you became a volunteer to the show, and you was a part of helping the show go from the 585 to 10,000 people using Scrum. Don't you think that that's something that people would think is valuable? Just think about this for a second. Am I crazy? Just think about what I'm saying to you. Just imagine if you was one of the people that helped the show go from 600 people to 10,000 people. Don't you think that's resume worthy? I mean, is it resume worthy? Is it resume worthy? That's the real question. I don't know. Somebody tell me. Am I thinking crazy? Because the one thing I like to have that I would like to put on my resume, that I've always put on my resume, has been accomplishments, has been things that differentiate me from other people. And classically, those things have been associated with return on investment, right? And so if you really think about it, what we would be doing in that situation is something really interesting, right? We'd actually be taking one of the value sources, like we'd probably be taking a combination of them, right? Probably more market value than anything else. How we would be placing ourselves in the market. That probably would be our focus. And then we'd probably be driving customer acquisition, or basically increasing subscribers, right? And so if you really think about that, and then there's other metrics that we can use, right? Like user engagement. Like literally, if we can get people if we can increase our average watch time of videos, right, through the things that we do. those are actual metrics, right? So let's just say people watch these videos for 15 minutes. What if we were able to double that to 30 minutes? Don't you think that that's resume worthy? Like, I would jump all over it. If it's me, I'm jumping all over it, right? I'm jumping all over it because making that thing happen, making that thing grow, making that thing be something different from when I started would be super amazing, right? Would be super amazing, right? And so Katie really says, hell yeah, I couldn't disagree with it at all. So, and I do believe it's an amazing opportunity. I think the ones that did it before got something out of it, and I think that whoever's going to be involved will get something out of it too. And I'm probably going to have to limit the number of people to 3 to 5 or whatever, because I can't have everybody on the show. I wish I could, right? We just got to have a small enough Scrum team where we can rock and roll. The only problem is that I have to play. If I do it this time, though, I'm not going to be the Scrum Master. I'm just not. I'm going to be the product owner. But I'm not going to be Scrum Master. Somebody's going to have to be the Scrum Master. And maybe we switch people off every other week, every other sprint, something like that. Every month, somebody is assigned a Scrum Master. Maybe that's what we do, right? I don't know. But the idea is no. Yeah. That's how I think. At least that's how I'm thinking about working it. I mean, I could be crazy here. I could be crazy in terms of what I'm thinking. And I see people saying this would be a great opportunity. Yes, it would be a great opportunity. I agree. Yeah, it would be a great opportunity. I don't see no reasons not to do it. You do realize that's how we built the show. We built the show using Scrum. So when I had the idea about the show, I really did something crazy. I sent out an email that had a broken link in it to see if people would click it. 300 people clicked it, so that said to me to have a show. And then what I did to build the show is we did weekly sprints. Like prior to the show's first airing, we did weekly sprints. The sprint started on a Wednesday, ended on a Wednesday, and that's what we did. And we did that to get the show ready to go, and then after that, we did sprints to maintain everything and keep it flowing. So it was actually pretty good. So we would create a vision, roadmap. I'd have to create those things, and then we would have to map every single sprint, some sprint goal to that. Yeah, it would be interesting. And I think I may have recorded one of those sessions that we had in terms of sprint planning. I may have. I'm not sure if I did. I had to double check the archives to see if I really did, because I don't know. I don't really know. This is interesting because I see that you all don't have any questions at all. Are you just excited about this thing I'm talking about in terms of the volunteer opportunity? Am I crazy? Am I thinking nobody had a rough week? Everybody got all their questions answered? Everybody's good? If you're good, just tell me you're good. Give me a thumbs up saying you're good. If you got a question, though, drop that question in the chat so we can talk about it. But yeah, maybe people are excited about this thing, right? Seeing how it would go, seeing how it would work. The good thing is that we can make sure that we give anybody insight into it, right? I'm not saying record everything, but I am saying, making sure we have a board that's publicly available. I have to figure out how to lock that down so nobody can change it except for the people. Yeah, we can do that. But then you're going to have me writing user stories for real and potentially estimating, man. Y'all not going to make me do all that work. Y'all crazy. Crazy. So yeah, I don't think I'm off my rocker with this. I really don't. I really think that this would be fun for everybody involved. Yeah, for those that don't know, it is, and Lorraine is knocking it out the park there. Team@beardedeagle.com. Send me an email. So she just put the email right there. Team@beardedeagle.com. That's the place to send me an email. You send me an email there, and then I can, in about a week or so, I'll get everybody together that's there. And again, you got to be willing to do the work, because I can do it all by myself, and I just run Scrum by myself, and then just do the work, right? But I know of a couple people that want to volunteer, and we probably just have 5 people max. something like that. So nothing crazy. Nothing where we gonna change your whole life tomorrow. Nothing like that. We just gonna find a way to make it happen. And that's I'm gonna have to look forward to it. But if you want to join it, team@beardedeagle.com. We get enough interest, it will likely be a go. We get a bunch of people who aren't interested, they just won't respond, right? So no worries. So on that note, look, I don't see any questions coming in the chat. And again, we normally go until there's no more questions. So seeing that there's no questions in the chat, I'm going to take this time and start thinking about this thing that we need to do. And you all can send me some emails is what you can do if you're interested. I'll deal one more time. Last week we was full of questions. This week y'all all questioned out. It's all right. I'm good with that. For those who don't know or recognize, for all you people that are in attendance to this, please understand that I'm a certified Scrum trainer, and anytime you spend time with a certified Scrum trainer, you earn SEUs, and this is actually education. This would be like a meetup group, so you can earn SEUs from that. If you don't know what SEUs are, they're Scrum education units. That's all about renewing your certification. You can see Miss Lorraine here is super fancy because she's an ACSM. If you are ACSM, then you renew that, and it renews anything below that. So it's a beautiful thing. I love it. Let's see what else is happening. No, that's about it. So seeing that there are no questions, I feel good that people got it all taken care of. You all need anything, reach out to me. Jermaine's asking volunteer for what? Just able to get on. Jermaine, we're talking about volunteering for building the show. So we have an opportunity where we have almost 600 subscribers. And the question is, if we start doing Scrum and start executing things, could we turn this into 1,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers? And so we're talking about volunteering to build the show. That's what we're talking about. But if you want to volunteer, the place to volunteer is team@beardedeagle.com. Don't nobody volunteer if you don't have no time. If you don't have no time, then it's pointless. You're not going to really learn anything. And the great thing about volunteering is you will have an opportunity to learn, I think, a lot if you really think about it. I think you would. Okay? So, on that note, I'm going to leave it at that and say, hey, it's been a wonderful night, y'all. We will come back here next week at the same time, and we will continue this conversation. You all probably have some questions next week. Probably just been beat up a little bit. Whoa, wait a minute. Let me make sure. Is next week the holiday week? Let me double check. Because next week's the holiday week. Nah, it's not. No, it's not. Okay. All right. It was the holiday week. I'm like, I cannot do the show on that Monday because people just won't show up. But on that note, I'm going to say thank you, everybody. It's been a good night. We will be back here next week at 8 to answer any questions that you all have or don't have. We'll just have a conversation. Other than that, I'm going to say good night to you all. Thank you so much. And I will see you next time. team@beardedeagle.com if you're looking to volunteer to do the work for growing the show. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good one. Boom, 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 boom.